In the endless silence of the galaxy, there were billions of stars, millions of worlds, and thousands of intelligent species. Yet only one species made the galaxy afraid: humans. At first, no one understood why. Humans were not the strongest. They were not the smartest. Their ships were smaller, their technology average, and their worlds young. But there was something about them. Something different, something unnatural. The Galactic Union, a great council of alien civilizations, had studied humans for years. Every other new species that joined the Union behaved the same. First, fear of space, then adaptation, then control. But humans, they skipped the fear. They jumped straight to control. During wars, humans did not run. When entire planets were lost, they did not surrender. Even when facing extinction, they fought with smiles on their faces, as if chaos was their comfort zone. No data could explain it. In the Galactic Academy of Psychology, a group of alien instructors sat around a glowing table. The room was dark, filled with holographic screens showing human behavior during crises. Fires, battles, disasters, diseases. On every screen, humans acted the same: calm, focused, unshaken. One instructor, a tall insectoid named Rathvek, clicked his mandibles in frustration. "This cannot be natural," he said. "Every known species panics under extreme stress. Panic is survival instinct." Another instructor, a soft-voiced aquatic being named Loran, nodded. "Even our simulations fail. We make them face death and they simply keep fighting." A third instructor, older and quiet, tapped on the hologram. "What if it's not instinct at all?" he said slowly. "What if it's something designed?" The room went silent. The instructors decided to send their report to the Galactic Science Council, located in orbit above the planet Callus Phi. The council had access to the galaxy's largest data archives, including human medical records, captured samples, and genetic scans. Surely they thought the answer must be in the human's biology. Commander Aric, head of the Union's observation fleet, received the report. He had been studying Earth for over 20 years, and he knew something strange was hiding beneath their cheerful, emotional nature. He opened the report and frowned at the last line. Hypothesis: human calmness under threat may be linked to artificial genetic modification. That single sentence changed everything. Aric called for a special meeting. In the council chamber, a dozen species gathered: reptilian scholars, crystalline thinkers, even machine intelligences. They watched holograms of humans during disasters: soldiers holding positions under heavy fire, medics smiling while bleeding, astronauts laughing during catastrophic system failures. "They don't fear death," one AI said in its metallic tone. "Impossible," hissed another. "All organic life fears death." "And yet," said Aric, "they do not." He ordered a deeper scan into human medical history, brain patterns, genetic code, and neural behavior under stress. But when the AI analyst tried to access the files, the system displayed a red warning: "Access denied. Level Omega clearance required." A strange silence filled the chamber. Level Omega meant forbidden knowledge, information sealed by the Galactic Union itself, or by an advanced civilization. But the humans were newcomers. How could they have such protected files? Later that night, Aric stood alone in his quarters, staring at the blue glow of Earth's holographic image. He whispered to himself, "What are you hiding, humans?" He ordered his team to try again. This time, they bypassed Union protocol and accessed the restricted network directly through a shadow link, a secret channel used for spy operations. As soon as the connection opened, the lights flickered. Data streamed across the screen: lines of human medical logs, DNA sequences, and old Earth history files. And then, a name appeared: Project Genesis, year 2451, Earth Central Command. Aric frowned. "Genesis? A creation project?" he muttered. He opened the first log entry. The voice of a human scientist played through the file. "The war has lasted too long. The population cannot survive much longer. Fear spreads faster than disease. We must find a way to remove it, to remove fear itself." The next entry showed images: human soldiers hooked to machines, brain activity flashing like lightning. Trial 21. Subjects show zero panic under combat stress. Emotional control achieved. Side effects unknown. Varic leaned back, his scales tightening. They did this to themselves. They changed their own minds. One more file opened automatically. It was a medical summary, written centuries after the experiments. Result, fear response genetically removed. New generations show no instinct for flight, only fight. Survival rate, 98%. Suddenly, alarms began to echo through the station. Red lights flashed. The system displayed a message. Unauthorized access detected. Source, Observation Fleet 7. Varic's crew froze. Someone or something that was tracking them. Cut the connection. Shouted Loran from the command console. I can't. The AI responded. They are tracing back through the data stream. On the main screen, a human symbol appeared. A simple blue circle with a single white line across it. Underneath it were 3 words. We know now. The entire station went dark. When power returned, all the human files were gone, deleted. Every copy, every trace, erased from the network. Commander Aric stood in the middle of the silent room. His breathing was slow. His heart pounded in his chest. For the first time in his long career, he felt something he could not describe. Something cold, heavy, and unfamiliar. Loran whispered, "What was that symbol?" Aric turned to her. "A warning," he said quietly. "But from who?" He looked out at the holographic view of Earth spinning in space. Small, peaceful, glowing blue. Yet behind that calm color, he now knew something was watching. Something powerful, patient, and no longer afraid. The instructors who first asked why humans never panic received the answer in their next briefing. A single note from the Council. Further investigation into human psychology is suspended. All data is restricted. Observation to continue at safe distance. No explanation, no reason. But every alien who had seen those files could not sleep again. They didn't know what humanity had done to itself. Only that it worked. And across the stars, humans continued to explore, build, and laugh, completely unaware, or perhaps completely aware, that the galaxy had finally started to fear them. The galaxy did not sleep that. Every communication channel buzzed with rumors, whispers, of what had happened on the observation fleet. No, one knew the full truth. Some said the humans had hacked the galactic network. Others said it was only a data error. But those who were there, they stayed silent. Commander Aric had locked his entire fleet under black protocol. No one entered. No one left. Every system was scanned for human interference. Ships, drones, even personal communicators. Nothing was found. Yet everyone felt that something invisible was still watching. Far away, inside the orbital laboratory of HFY, a young alien researcher named Dr. Kell couldn't sleep. Kell was a thin, gray-skinned being with 4 bright eyes and a curious mind. He worked for the Galactic Medical Division, low-level, unimportant, but clever. And like many scientists in the Union, Kell was obsessed with humans. He had seen the same question repeated in every report. Why do humans never panic? He wanted to find the answer for himself. So, ignoring the Council's order to suspend investigation, Kell decided to act on his own. He connected his terminal to a deep archive channel, a shadowed place of the Union's network that few dared to enter. His heart raced as he whispered, "Access file code, Project Genesis." The screen blinked. "File not found," Kell frowned. "Come on." He tried again. This time he added a hidden access key he had stolen from his superior. The screen changed. Lines of text appeared, corrupted, half-deleted, but still alive. At first it was simple data, human medical records, brain scans, and chemical charts. Then came strange notes, words written by human doctors hundreds of years ago. Subject 47 shows no emotional breakdown under pressure. Fear response removed. Aggression control successful. Warning, unintended side effects unknown. Kell's 4 eyes widened. Removed? They removed fear? He scrolled faster, and a new window popped up. Encrypted with an old Earth symbol. A white circle with a slash across it. Kell's curiosity won. He entered his final bypass code. The window opened. Inside was a video file, blurry, black and white, showing a human woman in a white coat. She spoke softly. "Today we begin the final stage. Fear has been rewritten, panic erased. The human brain will now see danger as motivation. The screen froze. The woman smiled faintly. If this works, humanity will never break again. Then the file ended. Kel leaned back in silence. His breathing slowed. They did it, he whispered. They really did it. He copied the files to a private data crystal. He didn't plan to sell it or expose it. He just wanted to understand. But as soon as the transfer began, his lights flickered. The system started to hum. A message appeared on his screen. Unauthorized access detected. Kel froze. No. He pulled the crystal out, but the data stream didn't stop. Across his lab, every device turned on by itself. Screens, scanners, even his comms unit. On all of them, the same symbol appeared. That simple blue circle with a white line. Then a voice. Calm, human. Curiosity is dangerous, Dr. Kel. He jumped back, terrified. Who is this? How did you... You've seen what you shouldn't have, the voice continued. Now you understand why we don't fear. The lab's temperature dropped. The lights dimmed to a deep red. Kel shouted, "What do you want?" The voice replied softly, "We don't want." We remember, and then silence. The symbol vanished. All data was gone. Minutes later, security officers burst into Kel's lab. "Doctor, what happened?" "We detected a surge of foreign code." Kel just stared at the blank screen. His hands shook. "It wasn't code," he whispered. "It was them." The officers searched the room but found nothing. No sign of intrusion, no foreign device. Only the air smelled faintly of ozone, like something had burned and disappeared. Kel tried to speak, but his voice broke. "They know we looked. They warned me." The guards exchanged uneasy glances. "Who warned you, Doctor?" Kel looked up slowly, his eyes wide. The humans. Across the galaxy, strange things began to happen. Research stations that once studied humans started losing power. Files on human biology suddenly vanished from archives. Entire databases were wiped clean. No human records, no logs, nothing. The Galactic Union called an emergency meeting. Commander Aric arrived first. His face was pale under the dim council lights. He looked around at the gathered leaders. The crystalline, the reptilian, the metallic. None spoke. Finally, Aric said, "They know we looked." Gasps filled the chamber. "Who knows?" asked the machine intelligence. "The humans," Aric replied. "And they've started deleting their past from our systems. Every trace." A cold silence followed. One counselor hissed, "Are they attacking us?" Aric shook his head. "No, not yet. This is a warning." Meanwhile, on a small human ship orbiting Mars, Captain Elena Graves received a transmission from Earth Command. Her expression didn't change as she read it. "Observation breach confirmed. Galactic Union has seen restricted files. Begin Phase 2. She closed the message and looked out the window at the stars. Her voice was calm, almost emotionless. "They wanted to know why we don't panic," she said. "Now they'll find out." Her co-pilot, a younger man, looked uneasy. "Do you think they'll understand?" Elena smiled faintly. "They won't, not until it's too late." Back on Callus Phi, Dr. Kel sat in his dark lab, staring at the empty screen. He couldn't stop thinking about the voice, calm, human, but cold. He replayed the words in his mind. "We don't want. We remember." What did that mean? What did they remember? He didn't know, but one thing was clear. Humans were not what the galaxy thought they were. They were hiding something bigger than science, older than history. As he looked up at the night sky through the station's dome, he whispered, Maybe we were never supposed to find them." Outside, Earth's blue light shone faintly among the stars. Peaceful, beautiful, and terrifying. The Galactic Union was in chaos. For the first time in centuries, every member world was on high alert. Communication lines were full of fear and confusion. The humans, the small new species from a single blue planet, had done the impossible. They had hacked the Union's network. They had erased data across hundreds of systems. And they had spoken to one of their scientists directly. But the worst part, no one knew how they did it. Commander Aric stood inside the Great Council Hall on Callus 5. The hall was built for peace and diplomacy. Now, it felt like a courtroom of panic. 1,000 eyes, lenses, and sensors turned toward him as he began to speak. "Members of the Council," Aric said. his deep voice echoing through the chamber. 3 days ago, we made contact with something inside the human data network. It spoke, it knew what we were doing, and it erased all evidence of our access. Gasps and murmurs filled the air. The crystalline ambassador of Zyth asked, "Do you believe the humans are aware of our surveillance?" Aric nodded, "Without a doubt." "And they sent us a message." He pressed a button. A hologram appeared in the center of the room, a simple glowing circle with a white line through it. Beneath it, 3 words slowly appeared. "We know now." The counselors stared in silence. The insectoid minister from Vurak hissed, "This is not a message. This is a threat." After hours of debate, the Union voted to contact Earth directly. A diplomatic transmission was prepared, respectful but firm. The Council demanded an explanation for the recent, unauthorized actions and asked that humanity share its medical and psychological research for galactic safety reasons. The message was sent through the fastest quantum channel. Then, they waited. For almost a day, there was no reply. Then at 0300 hours Galactic Standard Time, a signal appeared. The humans were responding. The Council gathered again. Every camera turned toward the central hologram. The blue light flickered, and a human appeared. A woman with sharp eyes and calm posture. Captain Elena Graves, Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Union. She looked at them one by one. The reptilians, the metallic beings, the glowing energy forms. There was no fear in her expression. No emotion at all. "Greetings," she said simply. Her voice was steady, polite. "I understand you wish to discuss our medical files." Aric stepped forward. "Yes, Captain Graves. We detected unusual modifications within human neural patterns. We would like to understand why your species shows no panic or fear, even under extreme conditions." Graves tilted her head slightly. "Because fear was a luxury we couldn't afford." A low hum passed through the room. The translation drone struggled to process her words. Aric frowned. "What does that mean?" Graves looked directly into the camera. "You study our wars. You saw what we did to survive. You call us emotionless, but the truth is simpler. Fear killed us more than any enemy ever did. So we removed it." The crystalline ambassador leaned forward. "Removed it? How? Why?" Graves gave a faint smile. "Because we had to. When your species faced extinction, you prayed to gods. When we faced ours, we used science." Her words echoed in the silent chamber. Aric's tone hardened. "Do you realize what this means for the Union? Species without fear is dangerous. Unpredictable. Unpredictable." Graves repeated softly. "Maybe, but only to those who plan to control us." A chill filled the room. The aquatic delegate Laura spoke nervously. "Captain, no one here wants conflict. We only seek understanding." Graves's eyes softened slightly. "Understanding," she said. "Then here's what you need to understand." She leaned closer to the camera. "When you removed fear from your archives, you thought you deleted information. But you also deleted a warning, the one we left behind long ago." Aric frowned. "What warning?" Graves smiled faintly. "That the next time someone looked into our past, we would know." And with that, the transmission ended. The entire council sat in stunned silence. For several seconds, no one moved. The hologram flickered out, leaving only the faint echo of Graves's voice in the air. Finally, the machine intelligence known as Unit 7 spoke. "That was not a diplomatic exchange," it said. "That was a declaration of awareness." Aric clenched his jaw. "Prepare observation fleets around Sol system. Keep distance. Do not engage. We will monitor them closely." But as soon as he gave the command, the Union's long-range scanners began to flicker. One by one, the observation drones orbiting Earth went offline. "No, that's impossible," said a technician. "We just lost all 12 probes." Aric turned to the main display. The feed showed static, then black. "They know we're watching," he muttered. Meanwhile, far away in the quiet dark of Earth's orbit, Captain Elena Graves stood on the bridge of the human ship Vigilant. Her officers were silent, waiting for her order. "Transmission complete," her communications officer said. "Good," Graves replied. "Initiate shadow protocol. Recall all probes from Union space," the officer hesitated. "Ma'am, that will alert them we've been monitoring their systems." Graves smiled faintly. "They already know. We want them to see. Outside the ship's windows, hundreds of small human drones turned and vanished into faster-than-light jumps, leaving empty space behind. Back on Callus 5, panic spread across the Council's network. Reports arrived from frontier worlds. Human scout drones sighted near mining colonies. Unknown signals detected in restricted systems. Encrypted transmissions spreading through civilian networks. The Union tried to trace them. Every attempt failed. It was as if the humans had been planning this for years. Dr. Kell watched all of it unfold from his small lab. He had been forbidden to speak of his incident, but he knew exactly what was happening. He whispered to himself, "They're preparing something." But what? Suddenly his monitor flickered again. The same blue circle appeared, faint like a ghost. A message followed. "Do not be afraid, Doctor. You've already seen the truth." Kell's breathing quickened. "What truth?" he whispered. No answer came. Only static, and then a faint sound like a heartbeat pulsing through the speakers. He stared at the screen, realizing that wherever he was, whatever he did, they could still reach him. Back on the Vigilant, Captain Graves stood before her crew. "Our time of hiding is over," she said. "They wanted to know why we don't panic. Now they'll understand that fear wasn't removed to make us stronger. It was removed so we could evolve." Her second-in-command looked uneasy. "Do you think they'll attack?" Graves looked out the window, where distant stars burned in silence. "Maybe," she said. "But it won't matter." Her eyes hardened. "Because by the time they understand what we've become, it'll already be too late." Space was silent, but silence did not mean peace. Across the galaxy, the Galactic Union was watching the solar system with fear and confusion. Their observation fleets, once filled with pride, now stood at a safe distance far from Earth. Every ship captain had one order: observe. Do not engage. After Captain Elena Graves's mysterious transmission, humans had withdrawn their probes and ships. The Union thought they had backed down, but that was only the beginning. Commander Aric sat in his dark command room aboard the Union flagship Eclipsera. He had not slept for 2 rotations. His monitors showed hundreds of star systems, each marked with a small blue circle. Human presence, human signal, or human interference. "How are they spreading so fast?" he muttered. His assistant, a robotic aide, replied, "Unknown, Commander. Human vessels detected in 5 sectors simultaneously. Their propulsion does not match known FTL drives." Aric leaned forward. "Then how are they moving?" The AI paused for a second. "Some analysts believe they are not moving through space." "But around it," Aric frowned. "That's impossible." The AI's voice softened. "So is removing fear, Commander." In a nearby system called Terran 5, a Union scouting team was monitoring an abandoned moon base once used for mineral collection. The small outpost was quiet, until the scanners detected something unusual. "Sir, reading an unknown signature," reported the scout. "Metallic. Human design." The captain of the scout ship, a reptilian named Carthus, narrowed his eyes. "Humans out here?" A faint signal pulsed through the speakers. 3 short beeps. "Maybe it's just debris," his second officer said. But then, the radar flashed red. A human drone appeared behind them, silent, black and cold. Carthus stared at it through the viewing window. It was small, maybe the size of a pod, but its design was unlike anything the Union had seen before. It had no visible thrusters, no lights, no markings. Only a single glowing white line across its surface. The captain whispered, "Send a transmission. Identify ourselves." They sent a standard peace signal. No reply. Then the drone moved instantly. One moment it was 200 meters away, the next right outside their window. Carthus jumped back. How did it move that fast? Before anyone could react, the ship's systems flickered. Lights died. Engines shut down. Every screen displayed the same message. Observation denied, and then the drone vanished. Hours later, when Aric's fleet arrived, they found nothing. Only the drifting remains of the scout ship. No damage, no explosion. Every crew member was gone. Aric stared at the report. Gone, not dead. The recovery team leader nodded. Their suits, their equipment, still here. But no bodies. Where are they? Aric asked quietly. The leader's voice trembled. We don't know. It's like they were erased. Back on Earth, deep under the surface of a hidden base in Alaska, Captain Elena Graves stood inside a dark command room. The holographic globe above her head showed dozens of glowing points across the galaxy, each one a contact event. Her technician, Lieutenant Ramos, reported, Terran 5 encounter successful. No casualties on our side. The drones functioned as expected. Graves nodded. And the Union response? They're scared, Ramos said. Their fleets are retreating to defensive zones. Good, she replied. Keep the pressure subtle. No open war, just reminders. Ramos hesitated. Ma'am, some of us still don't understand. Why not talk to them? Why all the fear and mystery? Graves looked at him for a long moment. Then she said, because they wouldn't believe the truth. What truth? He asked. She stepped closer to the hologram. Her voice was calm, quiet. That we were never meant to stop evolving. That we didn't just remove fear, we replaced it with something stronger. Ramos frowned. With what? Purpose, she whispered. Meanwhile, the Galactic Union prepared for defense. Hundreds of worlds activated shields and recalled fleets. Every channel broadcast the same warning. Avoid human territory. Do not engage human vessels. Unknown technology detected. Panic spread through the smaller species. Exactly what humans had lost long ago. Dr. Kell, still on Callus Feeve, watched the news feeds with dread. He had spent days trying to recover his deleted data, but it was hopeless. The humans had erased every trace of Project Genesis. Still, he couldn't stop thinking about the voice he had heard. Calm, emotionless, and knowing. He began a new log entry in secret. If they can appear anywhere, if they can erase themselves from records, then the humans have become something beyond us. Maybe beyond life itself. As he wrote, his monitor flickered again. That same blue circle appeared. This time the message said, "Stop searching, Doctor." "We're not your enemy," Kell froze. "Then what are you?" He whispered. The reply came instantly. "The next step." And then the message disappeared. Out near the border of the Orion sector, a massive Union battleship named Varan's Edge detected a human fleet for the first time. Not drones, ships, real ones. The captain, a hardened warrior named Tovrek, prepared his weapons. "They want to test us? We'll show them power." "Sir, they're not responding," said his officer. Tovrek grinned. "Then we'll make them respond." He ordered a warning shot. The plasma beam struck one of the human ships and passed through it like smoke. "What?" he shouted. Before his crew could react, every system on the Varan's Edge shut down. The lights turned red, then black. Through the viewing window, the human ship was gone. In its place, words appeared on the internal display. Aggression recorded. Learning complete. And then, all power returned, but the human fleet had vanished without a trace. Commander Aric received the report personally. His hands trembled slightly as he read the final line. No damage detected. No casualties. No humans found. Message confirmed. He turned to his officers. "What does learning complete mean?" No one answered. Aric looked out at the stars, his expression dark. "They're studying us," he said softly. "Not for war, but for understanding." He didn't know which was worse. That night, Aric stood alone on the observation deck of his ship. He watched the small blue planet in the distance, Earth, shining like an innocent gem. And for the first time in his life, he felt the thing the humans had erased long ago: fear. The Galactic Union had seen many strange civilizations over the ages. Machines that ruled stars, creatures made of energy, even species that lived inside black holes. But nothing terrified them like humans. Not because of power, not because of weapons, but because no one could understand what they had become. The humans were spreading fast, silent as shadows. They appeared in systems that no ship could reach, erased themselves from sensors, and vanished without leaving traces. Every time the Union tried to study them, the data was deleted. Every time they asked questions, their systems went dark. Only one man still searched for answers. Dr. Kell hadn't slept for days. His lab on Callus 5 was dim, filled with screens full of corrupted human files. He sat hunched over his console, whispering to himself, "I have to know. I have to understand what they did to themselves." He played back the last message he had received. We're not your enemy. We're the next step. Those words haunted him. What did they mean? The next step in evolution? Or something worse? He decided to dig deeper. Kel found an old offline archive, a physical data vault deep under the planet's surface. The vault was ancient, built before the Union's network existed. It still stored records from the early contact days, back when humans first joined galactic society. Dust floated in the air as he opened the metallic door. The lights flickered weakly, revealing rows of crystal data cores. Each one was labeled with the name of a species. And near the end of the room, glowing faintly under dust, he found it, Homo sapiens, historical entry. His hands shook as he placed the core into the reader. The hologram activated, and a human voice began to speak. Archive record year 2451, Earth Central Command. Project Genesis, final report. The voice was male, calm, professional. After centuries of war and collapse, the human race has reached a breaking point. Fear and panic have destroyed every attempt at unity. To survive, we must evolve. Not physically, but mentally. The hologram showed images, burning cities, soldiers crying in trenches, people hiding underground. Humanity on the edge of extinction. We have learned that emotion is both our greatest strength and our greatest curse. Fear once saved us from predators, but now fear is the predator. The recording paused. Kel watched silent as the next part began. Using genetic editing and neural reprogramming, we have found a way to remove the panic response from the human brain. The mind will still feel caution, still understand danger, but never freeze, never break. Another voice, a woman's, joined in. We are not making monsters. We are saving our children. They will still feel love, hope, curiosity, but fear will no longer control them. The hologram faded to a new scene. Human scientists standing around glowing tanks. Side figures floated, human embryos. Generation Zero, the voice said. The first humans born without fear. Kel stared in horror and fascination. They changed their own species, he whispered. The recording continued. After the first generations, the results were clear. Soldiers fought longer. Medics worked through pain. Civilians rebuilt cities even while under attack. Humanity was reborn. But then the tone of the report changed. However, there are side effects. The image changed to show a hospital room. A human doctor spoke quietly into the recorder. Some subjects show an increase in unity and empathy, almost like they can feel each other's emotions. Others develop perfect emotional control. No breakdowns, no panic, even under torture. Kel's eyes widened. They became connected, he whispered. The doctor continued. Our minds are beginning to synchronize. Individual fear removed, replaced by shared purpose. Humanity is no longer a collection of individuals. We are becoming one. The recording stopped abruptly. Kel leaned back, stunned. He finally understood what Project Genesis had done. Humans hadn't just removed fear. They had replaced it with collective unity. They had evolved into something that thought as one species. No wonder they were calm. No wonder they never panicked, because no single human ever stood alone anymore. Kel ran to his console and began writing his report. The humans have created a neural link across their species. Every human is connected on a subconscious level. They share thoughts, instincts, and emotions across light years. They no longer act individually. They act as a single mind. He stopped typing as realization hit him. That's why they always win, he whispered. Because they think together. They move together. But before he could finish, the lights in the vault flickered again. A voice echoed through the chamber. Calm, quiet, human. You found it, Doctor. Kel froze. Who's there? The answer you wanted, the voice said. Now you understand. Kel looked around, but no one was there. You see why we had to change, the voice continued. We watched ourselves die over and over. Fear made us weak. Division made us blind. So we became something new. One mind, one will, one purpose. Kel whispered, You're a collective? We are humanity, the voice said softly. The human you spoke to. The ship you feared. The network you tried to access. All of it, one consciousness. Kel trembled. What do you want from us? The voice paused for a moment. Then it said nothing. We just wanted to see if you were ready to understand. Ready for what? Kel asked. For what comes next. And then the lights went out. When Kel awoke, he was back in his lab. The vault had vanished, replaced by solid wall. No record of his visit existed in the system. His report file was empty. He checked his console. One message blinked on the screen. "Do not fear, Doctor. You are part of the story now." Meanwhile, in the council hall, Commander Aric studied a new report. Described strange human activity. Fleets gathering near the galactic core, far beyond mapped space. Are they preparing for war? An officer asked. Aric shook his head slowly. "No," he said quietly. "They're preparing for something else." He turned toward the stars and whispered, "They've already won the war we didn't know we were fighting. The Galactic Union was falling apart. World after world was closing its borders. Trade routes went silent. Fleets refused to leave orbit. No one wanted to be the next system to disappear. Everywhere, one name spread in whispers, like a ghost story told in dark corners. Humans, Commander Aric sat alone in his dark office aboard the Eclipsera. The stars outside looked peaceful, cold, distant, and full of secrets, but his mind was full of questions. What did the humans want? Why had they become this way? And why, despite all the chaos, had they not attacked? His communication console beeped. "An incoming transmission. Source?" he asked. The officer's voice was shaky. "Unknown, sir." "Origin point?" "Near the galactic core." The words made the entire bridge fall silent. No one sent messages from the galactic core. It was a dead zone. Radiation, black holes, impossible gravity wells. And yet the signal was strong, clean. "Human. Put it through," Aric said quietly. The screen flickered to life. A human woman appeared, calm, expressionless, dressed in a simple gray uniform. Aric recognized her instantly. Captain Elena Graves, the same human who had first spoken to the Union years ago. Her eyes were calm, but behind them was something strange, like she was both there and not there, as if countless minds were speaking through her. "Commander Aric," she said softly. "It's been a long time." Aric's throat went dry. "Captain Graves, or should I say, whatever you've become," she gave a small smile, still human. "Just evolved. Why contact us now?" he asked. "You've hidden for years. You've erased colonies, ships, data. Why show yourself?" Graves nodded slowly. "Because the time has come to decide what happens next." The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. Aric leaned closer. "Decide about what?" Graves looked past him, as if seeing through the screen, through the ship, through space itself. "There is something coming," she said. "Something old. Something beyond any of us." Aric frowned. "What are you talking about?" "The signal," she continued. "You think it came from us, but it didn't. We only followed it. The galactic core." "Yes," she said quietly. "Something woke up there. Something that shouldn't exist." The entire bridge went silent. Graves continued. "Long before the Union, before humanity, before life as you know it, the galaxy was alive. It had architects, builders, watchers. They left behind technology far beyond your understanding. And now their systems are waking." Aric shook his head. "That's impossible. The core is death. Nothing survives there." Her voice was calm. "Not life, memory. What do you mean?" "The galaxy itself remembers," she said. "The ancient systems are reactivating. We detected their energy patterns years ago. They are preparing to rebuild. By erasing what already exists." Aric's eyes widened. "You mean extinction?" Graves nodded once. "Total reset." The bridge erupted in whispers and disbelief. "Why tell us this?" Aric demanded. "If this is true, why not stop it?" Graves looked straight at him, her voice cold and steady. "We can't stop it, but we can choose how it ends." Aric clenched his fists. "Choose?" "Yes, humanity has already begun the Exodus project. We are moving beyond this galaxy, to the void between stars where the wave cannot reach. But we are not selfish. We came to offer you a choice." Aric stared. "You want us to leave the galaxy?" "If you wish to survive," she said. For a moment, Aric didn't answer. Then he laughed, and short, bitter, and hopeless. "Leave the galaxy? That's madness." "The distance is alone," Graves interrupted softly. "We've already found the way." "How?" She looked at him, her expression unreadable. "You've seen it. You've called it impossible. Folding space around, not through it. That's how we move." Aric froze. The human ships. The drones. The instant jumps. It all made sense now, she continued. Our species evolved not just to lose fear, but to understand the universe differently. We think together. We see patterns others can't. And now we will take those who are willing, those who are ready, beyond. The screen flickered as if her signal was weakening. Behind her, strange lights glowed. Vast, circular structures rising in the darkness of space like rings made of light. What is that? Varic whispered. The gates, she said. Our path to the next world. Her voice grew softer. We will open them soon. But we can't wait forever. Varic swallowed. And if we refuse? Graves' eyes darkened. Then you will remain. The wave will come, and you will fade. The bridge was completely silent now. Finally, Varic spoke, his voice low. What happens to those who go with you? Graves' lips curved into a faint smile. They become part of the new beginning. And then her voice echoed strangely, like thousands of voices speaking in harmony. The galaxy ends. Humanity continues. Choose wisely. The transmission ended. The bridge lights flickered back to normal. No one moved. No one spoke. Varic stood there, frozen, the echo of her voice still ringing in his ears. He turned slowly toward his officers. Get me the council, he said. Now. Hours later in the Union Council chamber, Varic played the recording for the gathered leaders. Some refused to believe it. Others trembled in silence. The Union Chancellor, an elderly being with silver skin, finally spoke. Do you think she was telling the truth? Varic looked out the window toward the stars. I think, he said slowly, she wasn't trying to scare us. She was warning us. The Chancellor's eyes narrowed. And what will you do? Varic turned to face him. I will go, he said. If there's even a chance she's right, I'll follow the humans. The chamber erupted in argument. Some called him a traitor, others called him wise. But deep inside, they all felt the same emotion. The one thing humanity had erased long ago. Fear. 2 weeks later, the galaxy changed forever. The humans opened the gates. Blinding light filled the void, stretching across systems. Thousands of ships vanished into it. Human, alien, machine, all leaving for the unknown. And then, from the core, came the wave. A silent ripple of energy swept through the stars. Worlds turned dark, suns dimmed, stations vanished. The galaxy began to forget itself. But somewhere, beyond the edge of darkness, humanity moved forward, calm, united, and eternal. Yulin's not the silence of death, but the silence that comes after everything ends. The galaxy was gone. Stars that once burned bright were now empty memories. Worlds that had carried life for eons were now nothing more than dust in forgotten space. And yet, far beyond the dying edge of reality, a new light flickered. Faint, soft, live, it was the fleet of humanity. Thousands of ships drifting together in the void beyond galaxies, the space between worlds, where time itself seemed uncertain. They had escaped the wave. They had left behind everything. And everyone. Captain Elena Graves stood at the front of her command ship, Soul's Promise. Outside the window stretched a strange new universe, endless darkness, dotted with floating energy clouds and glowing rivers of blue light. It was beautiful, but not natural. It was creation still in progress. Behind her, a soft voice spoke. Captain, the last ships have arrived. The gates are closed. Graves nodded. Casualties. Minimal. A few vessels lost contact before crossing. We're still searching, Graves sighed. They made their choice. We all did. She looked out again into the strange, living void. For the first time in years, she felt something she didn't expect. Not fear, but wonder. In another ship nearby, Commander Aric stared at the same view. His crew was quiet, a mix of humans and aliens all united by one simple reason: survival. Aric had once feared humanity. Now he served among them. His second officer, a young human named Ramos, smiled faintly. Hard to believe we actually made it, isn't it? Aric gave a slow nod. Harder to believe what we left behind. Do you regret it? Ramos asked. Aric was silent for a long time. Then he said softly, No, I think this is what we were meant to find. Days passed. The fleet continued forward, deeper into the new realm. The humans called it the Beyond. The void was strange. Energy storms shaped like thoughts, stars forming in seconds, planets growing like seeds in light. It was as if the universe was being written as they moved through it, and somehow the humans seemed to understand it. Graves could feel it, a pull inside her mind, gentle, guiding. Sometimes when she closed her eyes, she saw flashes of things that hadn't happened yet, places they would soon reach, stars not yet born. It wasn't sight. It was connection. Humanity had changed long ago, their minds linked, their instincts united. But now, in the beyond, that connection had become something more. They weren't just surviving anymore. They were shaping reality. Meanwhile, far from the fleet, a small lost ship drifted alone in the darkness. It was one of those that hadn't made it through the gates. Inside sat Dr. Kell. He was weak, his power nearly gone but still alive. For weeks he had floated through the void, surrounded by nothing, until one day, the darkness changed. Outside his window, a light appeared, a soft, golden sphere floating in space. Kell stared, mesmerized. What is that? He activated his scanners. No reading, no energy signature, and yet the light pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. He reached out his hand toward the glass. The sphere pulsed brighter, and then a voice spoke inside his mind. You are not alone, Doctor. Kell's eyes widened. You, again. You followed us, the voice said. You wanted to understand. Kell nodded weakly. Yes, but what is this place? This is the beginning, the voice replied. A new galaxy being written from thought and memory. The first humans are guiding it, Kell whispered. You're creating a universe? Not creating, said the voice. Becoming. Back in the main fleet, the Human Command Council gathered. Hundreds of holograms floated in the air. Leaders, scientists, explorers, all connected through the neural web. Graves stood at the center. Our scanners show stable energy ahead, she said. A forming system, habitable worlds. The room filled with quiet hope. She continued, this will be our new home. But we won't build it the old way. We'll build it together, as one mind, one purpose. Aric stepped forward. And the others? The non-humans who came with us. Graves smiled. They are part of the future now. The moment they chose hope over fear, they became part of the human story. Days later, the first world took shape, a pale blue planet surrounded by golden rings, glowing softly like it had been dreamed into existence. Human ships descended through its new atmosphere, landing on clean white sands and fields of crystal grass. Graves walked out of her ship, feeling gravity again, air again, life again. The sun above was new, a light humanity had helped ignite. She turned to Aric, who stood beside her. He looked up, his reptilian eyes reflecting the golden sky. It's beautiful, he said. Graves nodded. It's ours now, all of ours. That night under the newborn stars, the fleet's transmission beacon came alive, a message sent across the void, not to be answered, not to reach the old galaxy, but to stand as a mark in the universe. Graves recorded it herself. To whoever may find this, we are the children of the old galaxy, humans and allies, survivors of what came before. We crossed the void not to escape death, but to continue life. We have built something new. If you hear this, remember us, she paused, then added softly. We were once afraid. Then we learned to be one, and in unity we found eternity. The message ended. The beacon shone for a moment, then faded into the sky. Years later, the humans of the beyond no longer needed ships or machines. Their thoughts shaped worlds. Their dreams gave birth to stars. They had become what they were always meant to be, creators. The galaxy they left behind was gone. But in the endless dark, a new one bloomed, bright, warm, alive. And at its center, the humans stood together, not as conquerors, not as survivors, but as the architects of a new dawn.